All right, people. So now we can go react to why was Halloween better in 1980s? Yeah, I do feel like Halloween was better back then. Like even
Cause,
Christmas and everything. I
cause
feel
they
like
did more stuff or
yeah,
what?
now everything's all about social media and stuff like this. Like you can't really have fun.
The 80s really marked a turning point in American pop culture, and Halloween was no exception. Movies like Ghostbusters and Halloween 2, classic candies like Snickers, Reese's, and candy corn, and Ben Cooper costumes of Freddy Krueger, Darth Vader, and He Man filled the aisles at Kmart and Woolworth. In this spooky and nostalgic video, we'll take a look back at why the 80s were truly the best time for Halloween. Stick around till the end. You might just uncover some nostalgic
See, back then people actually had fun.
I know.
gems featuring the brands and characters that defined an era. Let's kick things off by taking a look at the films and TV shows that defined Halloween in the 80s. Back then, it wasn't just about the trick or treating, it was also about staying up late with your friends and being scared out of your wits by a good horror flick or Halloween special. Sure, everyone knows A Nightmare on Elm Street and Halloween 2, but let's not forget the other gems that turned many a sleepover into a scream fest. The Shining 1980 still makes us second guess walking down hotel hallways, and The Thing 1982 had everyone wondering if their best friend was secretly an alien. Trust issues, anyone? Then there were the TV specials. Besides the classics like It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, we had the lesser known but equally creepy Mr. Boogedy 1986, which had just the right amount of camp and spook to terrify an entire generation of kids. And let's not overlook The Midnight Hour, 1985, a made for TV movie where teens face zombies and witches. Because, of course, the 80s loved to mix every horror trope possible into one story, this era really set the stage.
See, stuff like that. Like we don't have that stuff. Like I remember when I was like your age, it was AMC. The channel thing on Comcast was channel AMC 49, I think. Uh, they had like on Halloween. I remember they used to have all the Halloween movies, like the old ones, not the new
I
ones.
feel like back then they were like more united. Like they were like the friends and like all of
Yeah,
them like trick or
cause now
treating.
everything is just like oh like let me see, let me put on a costume that people are gonna like on social media. It's like bro,
I
what?
know.
That's no.
And like back
Like
then
people
it was
actually
like costumes, like
exactly
actual
like
costumes.
parades and all
Yeah.
that. Like how you saw they were actually having a parade in the street. Like you guys don't even have a parade at school no more, huh?
No.
Yeah, we used to have like we used to dress up and like actually have a parade at school, like through the whole thing and a whole Halloween party. Your parents come take pictures with the kids, like that was dope. Now it's like Jesus, like what
Like
have
the only thing we do is like you dress up and that's it for school.
I don't know
But you
for
don't have a parade.
I don't know for us the whole all classes all grades
Oh
had a
no.
parade. Yeah, it was dope. And then after that you'll go back to the class. You'll like eat like
Oh yeah, they like do like parties or stuff
yeah,
like that. Yeah.
and we watched like a Halloween movie and stuff. Like that was dope. Now it's like Jesus. Like instead of getting better or doing something better, where it's getting worse and
I
worse.
know.
And even like the TVs, like you, like the only thing I watch now when it comes to because streaming kind of messed it up because you can technically watch it whenever is only thing I watch is that what's it called, the pumpkin one, the Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown is
Oh.
the only one that I watch. Kind of like Christmas. That's it.
For the love of all things.
And even the movies were scarier back then. Now it's all
Yeah.
just like so much
Well,
fake.
no. Well, they are scary.
No, now
The
now it's like
Terrifier one?
I mean, but you
That one's scary. That
it's
one scares
it's
you.
scary because of all the blood and all that
Yeah,
shit.
because of the gore.
Exactly, but
But
like
last, but
but
like
back
back
then
then,
back then it wasn't
yeah.
really that gory, but you could still be
But it
scared.
was scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Halloween, the first Halloween, I feel like that's the more
Like
scary
it
one
didn't
than all
have
the
to
other.
be gore in order to scare you.
Exactly.
And now it's
It
just
could just
gore.
be like a regular, like a scary person, just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
spooky, and it's no wonder Halloween in the 80s feels so iconic. Back then, these movies and shows weren't just entertainment, they were events. If you missed the Halloween special on TV, you'd spend the next day at school hearing about how your classmates got freaked out while you regretted falling asleep early. So, grab your popcorn, dim the lights, and let's dive deeper into these spine-chilling memories. Now, let's talk about the costumes. If you grew up in the 80s, you probably remember scouring the aisles of Kmart or Woolworth, hunting for that perfect Ben Cooper costume. And what a selection. You had everything from Freddy Krueger to Darth Vader, He-Man to Strawberry Shortcake, G.I. Joe, or Ninja Turtles. These costumes weren't exactly known for their comfort, though. Who could forget those plastic masks with tiny breathing holes that always seemed to fog up after 2 minutes? But hey, discomfort was a small price to pay to look that cool for a night. But the real magic was in the packaging. Those Ben Cooper costumes came in boxes with a see-through plastic front, giving you a sneak peek at your soon-to-be Halloween identity. And once you ripped it open, you were greeted by that vinyl smell that instantly reminded you it was Halloween season. Sure, the costumes didn't always look like the characters on the box, but that didn't matter much when you were out running through the streets, collecting candy, and feeling like a superhero or villain, depending on your mood. And let's be real, back in the 80s, the flashier, the better. If you weren't glowing in the dark or wearing something ridiculously bright, were you even trying? Those were the days when Knight Rider, Pac-Man, and Rainbow Bright were just as much a part of Halloween as witches and ghosts. It wasn't just about dressing up, it was about being part of the pop culture wave that swept across every kid's imagination. Of course, Halloween wasn't just about the costumes and the scares. Let's not forget the real prize, the candy. Back in the 80s, kids took their candy collecting very seriously. The goal was simple: fill that bag, or if you were a pro, your pillowcase to the brim with as many Snickers, Reese's, and candy corn as possible. And sure, you'd always end up with a few of those dreaded off-brand candies or some well-meaning neighbor's apples, but that was part of the adventure. The real...
I remember one time I ended up taking my backpack. I filled that thing up so all pockets were filled up. It was so much that I ended up I remember we went to the 99-cent store because I mean it was Kmart. Kmart was like the expensive part for us. So we went to the 99-cent store, and that was when it kind of like a year after they opened. We went to 99-cent store and we ended up buying there were some like long bags. It was like 3 feet.
Oh.
And then I ended up filling up like 4 of those bags off my backpack. Filled it up with candy, and your mom only gave me like half of one bag.
Why?
Because she's like, you can't. That was back then when they used to hide soda from me and everything.
Oh.
So it's like, she like, oh, you're only gonna get this. She only gave me like a handful, and for the next like couple months, I ended up finding the spot where they hid the candy. And while they were at work, I used to go in the bag and just get a little here, a little there.
What?
Got to the point where it was so small that I just like, okay, I took it all.
Did they get mad at you?
Yeah, they whooped my ass.
Oh.
I mean, it makes sense, but...
stars, though? Full-size candy bars? They were the holy grail of trick-or-treating. Those houses were legendary, and you'd make sure to hit them first.
Yeah, I remember too, if you wanted the good candy, you go to the rich neighborhoods. Like where we live, it was usually like 99 cents for candy. Yeah, you didn't get like actual Twigs. You would get like off-brand Twigs or like off-brand Kit Kats. It was like when you were going to like the nice neighborhoods where you actually. I remember one day I ended up getting like an actual pack of popcorn, and I was like, oh my god. This is amazing. A bag of popcorn. I was like, oh my god.
What?
Yeah.
Back then, there wasn't the variety we have today, but the classics reigned supreme. Skittles, Starburst, Twizzlers, and Nerds were highly coveted, while Pop Rocks and Whoppers added a little extra nostalgia to your candy haul. And who can forget Reese's Pieces? Thanks to E.T., they became a must-have treat in every trick-or-treat bag. Let's also not forget the McDonald's Halloween pails, those little plastic buckets shaped like pumpkins, ghosts, or witches. If you were lucky, you got one of those filled with fries and nuggets on Halloween. And
I heard that they're gonna come back. They want to bring those back.
then you'd use it to collect candy later. Looking back, these treats weren't just about sugar highs. They were tokens of childhood that fueled the excitement of Halloween night. And let's be honest, trading candy with your friends at the end of the night was half the fun, figuring out who'd score the most Snickers while pawning off the candy corn. So whether you were a chocolate lover or a fan of fruity candies, Halloween in the 80s made sure every kid went home with a sugar-filled treasure trove that would last for weeks. Or at least until your parents confiscated the best pieces. The Halloween catalogs, where dreams began.
I remember too, when you were younger, I stopped going to trick or treating. You used to go trick or treating. I used to take your candy at night.
What?
Yeah. So I kind of did what my parents did to me, to you. And then I remember too going into like stores or going to Burger King or going to like Food Max and stuff, and they would pass out candy, kind of like we do at Sports Basement. Yeah.
Well, I'm for sure gonna go to sports.
Let's not forget one of the most magical parts of Halloween in the 80s, the catalogs. Before online shopping took over, those thick, colorful Halloween catalogs from stores like Sears, Kmart, and JCPenney were pure gold. As soon as October hit, kids everywhere would flip through the pages, circling their dream costumes and decorating ideas with excitement. Whether it was picking out the coolest Ben Cooper costume or scoping out plastic skeletons for the front yard, the catalog was the starting point of Halloween dreams. These catalogs weren't just about the costumes, they were about planning your entire Halloween experience. The pages were filled with everything from plastic pumpkins to fog machines, and the selection was nothing short of amazing. You could find everything from the scariest vampire fangs to those neon green spider rings that somehow made it into every goodie bag at school. And let's not forget the DIY costume kits for the crafty kids whose parents were determined to save a buck and make something at home. Flipping through those catalogs wasn't just a ritual, it was a bonding experience. Kids would sit down with their siblings, negotiate costume choices, and dream up the most outrageous, fun, and sometimes spooky looks. These pages also teased you with the best decorations, from black cauldrons to fake cobwebs and spooky window clings. The challenge was picking just one thing. There were just too many great options. And even if you didn't get to buy everything you saw, those catalogs fed your imagination and excitement for the big night. You could almost smell the vinyl of those costumes and hear the rustle of the plastic candy wrappers just by flipping through the pages. Now, when it came to Halloween decorations in the 80s, things were a bit more, let's say, low-tech than what you see today. Forget the elaborate animatronics or coordinated light shows you find in some neighborhoods now. Back then, a few well-placed plastic pumpkins and a cardboard skeleton could transform any house into a haunted masterpiece. The decorations might have been simpler, but they had a certain charm that still sparks nostalgia for anyone who lived through it. Stores like Woolworth and Kmart were loaded with Halloween must-haves. Plastic jack-o'-lanterns, cotton spider webs, and those iconic paper skeletons with joints you could bend into weird poses. And let's not forget the glow-in-the-dark window clings, or the little plastic witches that hung from your porch. These decorations were cheap, cheerful, and could be used year after year.
I don't know, this kind of makes me sad.
Why?
Cause it's like, dude, it was so much better back then. It's like we missed up on a lot of stuff. Like, what do we have? We just have Wi-Fi and social media. But back then, I feel
Low
like
key, I prefer like not having social media or Wi-Fi and like having like that.
having something like that's freaking dope.
Cause like
dude.
you have fun, but you don't need like electronics.
Exactly. And you actually have like, I feel like back then, like you had more like to actually talk to people and all that,
I know.
like actual
I feel like-
friendships.
Like electronics like ruined everything.
Exactly. Like, bro, that's just, yeah, this is sad.
That is sad.
Some households even got creative, turning old sheets into floating ghosts or making gravestones out of cardboard. And for the overachievers, there were those houses that really went all out. Some neighbors turned their front yards into graveyards with tombstones, fog machines, and the occasional spooky soundtrack playing in the background. Others turned their garages into makeshift haunted houses, complete with jump scares that would have you running for your life, or at least for your next candy stop. But the real magic of Halloween decorations in the 80s was the DIY spirit. Families often made their own spooky displays, simple but effective. Whether it was carving pumpkins on the porch or hanging hand-drawn bats in the windows, the decorations brought a sense of community and creativity to the holiday. It wasn't about who had the scariest house, it was about having fun and getting into the spirit of Halloween. School Halloween parties, where the fun began. For kids in the 80s, Halloween wasn't just something that happened at night. It took over the entire day, especially at school. The excitement would start the moment you stepped off the bus, as everyone tried to guess what their friends would be dressed as later. Halloween parties at school were a big deal, with classrooms decked out in simple but festive decorations, like black and orange streamers, paper jack-o'-lanterns, and plenty of cotton cobwebs. You could practically feel the buzz of excitement all day long. At some point, the teacher would announce it was time to change into your costume, and chaos would ensue. Kids scrambled to pull out their Ben Cooper costumes from their backpacks. Crinkling vinyl suits and plastic masks were the order of the day. Of course, there was always that one kid who had a cooler homemade costume, probably with face paint that looked like it took hours to do. After everyone was ready, the classroom would erupt into laughter and excitement, with kids comparing costumes and trying to trade masks for a few minutes. Then came the parade. Every school had one, where kids marched through the hallways or around the schoolyard, showing off their costumes to the delight of teachers, parents, and their fellow students. If you were lucky, there was even a contest for the best costume, though no one really cared about winning. Just participating was thrilling enough. And what's a Halloween party without treats? Parents often sent cupcakes with orange frosting, candy corn, or those...
I remember I was Batman for one. I was a Power Ranger. I was Spider-Man. I was Superman, and then I remember we didn't have money, so I was Batman again.
Oh, so you were mostly just like superheroes?
Yeah, I mean,
I was mostly bugs.
you still are a bug. But yeah, I mean, man, that was tough, dude. I need to go look at those pictures, like if we even have pictures. Cause I remember your parents couldn't really go because they were always working.
Yeah.
So I had to walk there by myself. Your grandpa will go, but I mean, your grandpa he's like, okay, what is this? That grandpa was old school, so it's like,
Yeah.
man, that's why like when I have my kids, like I'm actually just gonna like get them in like the old school spirit, like make the house nice.
But it's not gonna be the same.
I know it's not gonna be the same, but still, it's gonna be like that's what I want with my family. Like I want to get them like all dressed up, like actually do family dress up stuff like that.
Iconic caramel apples wrapped in clear plastic. Games like Bobbing for Apples or a Halloween version of Pin the Tail on the Donkey were staples, and the whole event felt like a small daytime version of the nighttime trick-or-treating that everyone was waiting for. It was a perfect warm-up for the real deal later that night, and for many kids, it was just as fun. trick-or-treating, the main event. After the excitement of school parties and parades, the real magic of Halloween started as the sun set. For kids in the 80s, trick-or-treating was the pinnacle of the night. A chance to roam the neighborhood with your friends, pillowcase in hand, and stock up on enough candy to last until Thanksgiving. Well, if you didn't eat it all in the first week. The rules were simple. The more houses you hit, the more candy you got. And the goal? To find those coveted homes that gave out full-size candy bars. The true legends of any neighborhood. The streets would come alive after dinner with kids darting from house to house, clutching their plastic pumpkins, or for the seasoned veterans, their trusty pillowcases. The air was filled with a mix of excitement and the smell of fallen leaves. Back then, kids didn't have to worry as much about safety. There were no official trick-or-treat hours, and it wasn't uncommon to stay out way past dark. Everyone knew the best houses, the ones with the spookiest decorations and the best candy, and you made sure to visit them first. The experience wasn't just about the candy, though. It was about the adventure. Every neighborhood had that one creepy house, the one you and your friends would dare each other to approach. It was all part of the thrill. And who could forget the endless trading sessions afterward? Back at home, kids would dump their candy haul on the floor, carefully sorting through it all and swapping with siblings or friends. I'll trade you 2 candy corns for a Snickers. It was the...
Or wait till the siblings go to sleep and then go into the thing and take the good ones.
No.
That's what I did to you guys.
purest form of kid economy. Parents were always lurking nearby, mostly for safety, but also to snag a few treats for themselves. And by the end of the night, everyone went home exhausted, a little bit sticky from all the sugar, and with a bag full of memories. Now let's move on to the post-Halloween traditions, because for an 80s kid, the fun didn't stop when the candy ran out. For kids in the 80s, Halloween didn't end when the last piece of candy hit the bottom of the bag. Oh no, the real work and fun was just beginning. Once you were back home, the tradition of dumping out your candy stash and going through it began. The sight of a living room floor covered in Snickers, Reese's, Milk Duds, and those pesky candy corn pieces was a sight to behold. It was time for the great sort, separating the good candy from the candy corn, and creating your ultimate pile of sugary treasures. The candy sorting process wasn't just about organizing, it was strategic. You'd carefully lay out your best finds, then trade with your siblings or friends to get rid of the stuff you didn't want.
Whenever you got like this, the cotton candy, we're like, oh my god, these people are rich.
Yeah.
Whenever I got that, the full size, the king size, and then the oh, look at the dog in the back. Yeah, and then the popcorn were like, these people are rich.
Popcorn?
Yeah, they should give like actual like the bags of popcorn, like so you can make it, put it in the microwave and all that.
I never got popcorn.
Oh my god, that's when we used to get we get more of these like lollipops on the top. These over here. I remember they had like Snickers, but like fake Snickers and like fake Kit Kats.
Ew.
Or like Starburst, but it was not like real Starburst. It was like the off-brand. I mean, it makes sense because I mean, where we used to trick or treat was mostly like 99 cents or candy. Or like if you wanted a Snickers, you didn't get a full Snickers. You got like the little teeny tiny
like
ones.
the...
Yeah.
Oh.
But I mean, we didn't care. Candy is candy.
Yeah.
In exchange for the true gems. Full-size candy bars, packs of Skittles, or that lone Twix you managed to snag. These post-Halloween trading sessions were like miniature stock exchanges, with kids haggling over chocolate bars and trying to get the best deals. Everyone had their favorites, and candy negotiations could last well into the night. "I'll trade you 3 Smarties for your Kit Kat" was a common offer. Parents also played a role in this post-Halloween tradition, often swooping in with the classic candy tax. After all, supervising trick-or-treating is hard work, and they deserved their cut. Of course, many parents use this as a chance to grab their favorite treats while warning you not to eat too much in one sitting. Advice most kids promptly ignored. By the time you had organized your stash and successfully traded your less desirable pieces, the Halloween rush was winding down. But the best part? That pile of candy would last for days. If you had enough willpower, that is. Halloween in the 80s wasn't just a single night of fun, it was an event that kept giving long after the costumes were put away and the decorations were taken down. And just like that, the countdown to next year's Halloween would begin. But for now, it was time to savor the sweet rewards of a job well done. One candy bar at a time. Halloween in the 80s wasn't just about the candy or costumes. It was about the magic of being a kid, when the world felt big, the future felt far away, and the present was filled with excitement. We lived for the moment, laughing with friends, daring each other to knock on spooky doors, and never worrying about what came next. Now, as time has passed, we look back and realize how special those simple moments were. They're memories we hold close, reminders of a time when joy was easy to find, and life was just about being in the here and now. For many, that's why the 80s will always be remembered as the best Halloween of all. Because it was a time when happiness was as simple as a full pillowcase of candy, and a night filled with laughter.
Bro, that's crazy. That was way better back then.
I know.
Things have really gotten worse.
You would expect them to get better, but no.
I know, you think it with times things get, but it's, no, that's...
But they don't.
Oh, man, we really miss, like... Oh, man.
Like, trick-or-treating is not the same anymore.
No, it's not. And then plus, you got a bunch of dumbasses nowadays that mess it up for, like, the kids.
I know.
Like remember the scavenger that I was telling you at work? We had a scavenger hunt where, like, you had to find 5 different, like, plushies.
Yeah.
Dude, they stole one of the plushies. The kids were doing a scavenger hunt, and here comes a 12-year-old kid. 2 12-year-old girls, and they literally stole a plushie. After they got their candy. It's like, what's wrong with people? Yeah. But, I mean...
But at least I got the candy.
But this is sad, though.
I know.
I feel like for me, the whole time in my head is like, this is so fun, but sad, because we don't have none of this. See, now it's up to us, and, like, people our age that actually look at this stuff to when we have our kids to change it and bring it back to them.
Yeah.
Rather than making it following continue the same thing that's going on with us, like, hey, let's do it like back in the 80s and shit like that. You like this video?
Yeah.
I like this video, but it was sad. Alright, people, thank you for watching. If you got any other stories, let us know in the comment section. We like stuff like this. Thank y'all for watching.